sus?
Since this is our first shift since things changed, we're going to share with you some of the stories of how people have been fitting into this new existence we lead.
Since the barrier between the school and the world outside broke down, a lot of things have changed for a lot of people, and we're no exception. For me, I believe I speak for Harmony as well when I say this. The understanding of what happened has brought a new light to our existence, and I don't want to go into it too much today, but I remember how I died a year and a half ago, and Harmony knows why she couldn't remember past a certain point.
It definitely changes how you exist when you remember your life outside of being here, and that's coming from me, someone who didn't even have a life outside of here before.
So with that preface, we'll take you into other people's stories. This one comes from Conti, who sent this in to us.
She says, for me, being able to walk out of school with my memories of it intact has let me do things I wouldn't have had the opportunity for before. I've been able to talk to other people who get paid to do what I like. It's let me learn things about chemistry that I wouldn't have been able to learn from the psychic link of my chem teacher. That info's limited, you know? But now I have access to all sorts of other people and stuff.
Good for her. I remember talking to her over the summer about that. I'm glad to hear she's getting to do what she likes. Thanks, Conti, for sending that in to us to share today.
Of course, not all of the things that people have sent in are as peachy as Conti's.
That's true. For instance, we heard from Lydia about her parents' take on the matter. If you'll recall, Lydia is our zombie no longer freshman, and that has been hard on her family. Lydia's undeath also resulted in her sister's actual death, which, aside from being a mess to clean up in the media room, was understandably a very emotional experience for the family.
And because of the weird way time moved here, that's a very recent loss for them. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get anything in their words, but as Lydia is a good friend of ours, we know what's happening in her unlife.
There have also been a record number of people being diagnosed with some sort of mental instability, which we think is a side effect of trying to comprehend two sets of memories. Some people can handle it, others cannot.
As it stands, the local chapter of the Order of Kings is trying to help people smooth over those memories into something more cohesive.
We'll get some more info on that and report back to you when we know more, which is good since we're running out of time to talk about that anyway.
Right. So now we have a guest here to talk with us about the screaming. You may remember the band Cultist from last year, and while we're not entirely sure that this is the same person as before, it probably doesn't matter.
If you don't know what the screaming is, that's fine, we'll get to it. Our band here at Fairmont is apparently well known in the region, so here we have a representative to talk about that. Welcome to the radio.
Hey, thanks.
So, since you were here last year...
That wasn't me.
Oh, sorry.
It's fine. We're all basically the same anyway. It's kind of a thing. Like, it's totally intentional. We're a cult, so we try to make it so no one can tell us apart on the field. Anyway, we're looking for a certain uniformity. The only way you can tell us apart, even, is when we're playing different music than the other bands are. Different shows and themes and all of that kind of stuff. Sometimes I think a few people sort of get traded, if that makes any sense.
It doesn't really.
Like, sometimes we'll lose one of ours and pick up someone else's kid.
What do you do if that happens?
Oh, nothing. They're fine with us and they'll find their way home one way or another.
I see. Now, it's our understanding that you have an event coming up, a thing called the Screaming?
Yes, the screaming. Though it's more like a oh, like that sound that's always playing in your head. Although, sometimes it's more like this. It's kind of like a way for the seniors to fully realize that this is their last year of doing this. Like, the underclassmen don't participate in it, but they all know what happens and what it's about. But no one can quite explain what it is. It just kind of happens, if that makes any sense.
I think I understand. Is it a little like breathing?
Yeah, just like breathing. But like...
Even I can grasp that idea, even though I don't breathe anymore. Is it a little like...
Ah, yes, now you're getting the hang of it.
Hello, listeners. We wanted to let you know that we here at WKUT don't believe in social media. Or any media, for that matter. Wait, does that mean we don't believe in ourselves? Oh, geez, that's not the message we meant to send with this. Sorry. Anyway, follow us on all your social media platforms at FHS Media. We don't believe in ourselves either.
Did you know that we have a literary magazine here? Well, we do. Silence creeps into your nostrils. Your eyes are filled with emptiness. You feel nothing. Airy Literary Magazine. Join. Submit. Buy. Support your classmates in their artistic endeavors. Support Airy.
I've had a few things published in Airy. Anyway, right, welcome back, listeners. It's about half after the hour now, and we're still here with the band Cultist. We were chatting a bit during the break, and I think the band Cultist here has a rather interesting bit on today's topic of discussion.
Would you mind telling our listeners the story that you started telling us a moment ago?
Oh, sure. So, a lot has changed for me since the merge, but the biggest thing is just being able to actually know what I do outside of here. You know, I was an entirely different person when I left the school, because I didn't. It's been kind of ridiculous trying to reconcile my two lives so that they make sense together.
Would you mind sharing that example?
Not that one.
Fair enough.
But you know how I conform to the band when I'm here. I actually sort of fight conformity outside of here. It's, I fight against doing what my in-school life is, so I'm never quite sure what to do when I'm doing either of these activities. Because the other side of my life is arguing against doing it.
Wow, that's a struggle. You'll have to keep us updated on how this changes for you over the next couple months.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks for joining us today. Anyway, since we started this shift, we've heard from one more person about life outside. This one a teacher. This is from Miss Riffle, one of the Latin teachers. She sent us this message a few minutes ago.
She said, "It's been a lot of fun for me to pick my hobbies back up since the merge. I was doing them before, but not being able to remember doing them while I was at work kind of negated the stress-relieving point of doing those things in the first place."
I'm glad to finish off this discussion on a happy note like that. I think we all need a little more of that optimism in our lives, with things being what they are.
Optimism. That is definitely a thing we all need a little more of.
With that, it is time for us to leave you to these waves and whatever comes over them next. Thanks for tuning in with us today.
Happy nightmares.
Welcome to Fairmont is a WKAT production. Welcome to Fairmont is a WKAT production produced and performed by Colleen Frieza-Psyche and myself, Alana Orion, as Harmony, with music by Garrett Morgan, who is also the voice of the less anonymous than before band Cultist, and Cameron Knopp is the voice of Fairmont's weather.
Thanks again for tuning in with us. It means a lot. Make sure to listen for us again in 2 weeks when we will release our second episode of the year, Welcome to Fairmont.
And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at FHS Media, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Welcome to Fairmont, so you can catch up on the last year and stay updated on our latest content. Thanks. Happy nightmares.